Hello everybody and welcome back. It's the long-awaited video number 2 on how to animate. Today we are going to start animating the story and get the scenery set up just a little bit better. And I did pick one. I picked a comment from no, I'm gonna butcher his name, but let me pull it up. Okay, it was from Dula Kaba. And it said, Skidoo throws a stick, the dog goes to fetch it, brings back a bone, pretty much the leg of a skeleton, and then when Skidoo looks up, the skeleton's there and snatches it back. I thought that was funny. There was some really other good ones. I liked Defaria's, but there could only be one. Anyway, to start off, before we start animating, I want to get the scene set up a little bit better. And by that, I mean, I want to make it, I don't know, look a little bit more natural. And so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to add some lights, because we've got torches here on the side of our house, but they're not lit up and it's nighttime, so we need to do something with it. There's also a torch in here. There's quite a few torches in here. Now I don't think we'll put a light on every one of those torches, but we'll add a couple here in the house so that it looks like there's light on in the house. So the way you can do that, since we're going to be adding custom lights, we don't want to mess with the lights that you can down here in the background. Rather, we're going to add them as objects. So the way you do that is the same way you add a character. You click Add, click Light, and there you go. We have a little light here. Now it does spawn in the normal spot, so it may not look like it's doing anything, but that's because it's stuck underground in the house. So let's pull this up so we can see what we're doing. Add a keyframe for the light, of course, and now that brings up the position, light, and transition tab for it. So we're going to pull up the position, we're going to pull it out here, and now we can see the light. So what we're going to do is we are just going to bring it over here. Now lights are a little bit harder to move because it's kind of a small object, so it's kind of hard to tell their depth. But I'm just going to move it down here so that it's, we'll put it on top of the torch like that. Actually, we'll put a little bit on front diagonal. Okay. Let's pull this over just a bit. Alright, so that's our first light. Now, part of the light options is the position, but I like to use the 3D sliders. So I'm going to close that. Now the light, you can change the strength. So like, see there, it's lighting up the back of the house. Now that's not normally how a torch works, so we're gonna bring that back down to just about right there, about 24%. That's showing in the front and it's not really showing in the back of the house. We are gonna change the color just by clicking on that color right there. Now torches in Minecraft are kind of the same color, but I kind of want to go with let's try that yellow. No, that doesn't look good at all. We may just stick with white. Let's try that. I'm going to try a mixture. I'm going to make that one yellow, and then the one next to it I'm going to make orange. And if all else fails, we'll just go back to white. And we're not going to worry with the transition because we're not really changing any of its states as far as like color and strength goes. So we won't touch on that this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the light so that it starts in the same position, and then all I'm going to do is drag it straight over to that torch. Now that was kind of quick, but I made a duplicate. Now I could have made an instance copy, but I'm pretty sure they would share the same, the copy of light 1 would share the same color as light 1, and I don't want it to share the color. So I wanted to make a duplicate in the library. And so let's pull this open and let's change the color to orange. How does that look? You can see where it's orange here, yellow here. I think we're just gonna go back to white on both. Okay. And okay. Very nice. So now we've got two lights there. Let's look on the inside of the house and see how we're doing on light in here. We'll add probably one per section. So we'll add one back here and we'll add one here in the middle. So as always, like I said in the last video, we need to give these names. So we're just going to go front left and front right. Now we're going to duplicate the front left. Actually, in this case, let's go ahead and just do the instance one. Let's duplicate. So let's hurry and add those. We'll just make 2 copies right off. So here's a cool thing. If I select both keyframes down here, I can either click and drag to get a blue box and just drag it over those 2, except I did get the 3rd right there, so I'm going to click off. If I just click that one, hold Control, and click that one, now when I drag up, it takes both with it. So I'm actually moving 2 lights with this. I'm gonna bring these out. I'm gonna bring that one here, and now since I just want to move one, I'll click off, click this one, and we'll pull over to there. Let's see, is this where we want it? Not quite. And the baby is not happy. And we'll put it right there. Now it seems we've got a little bit of a conflict with our lights. By adding so many lights, they seem to be canceling each other out. So if we look on the front of the house here, it looks like it's making it black because the inside of the lights on the inside here are affecting it out here and kind of overriding those lights. We may want to turn some of these off. So let's find out which one. So it looks like light 4. What about this one? 2, we want to keep that one up front. 5, maybe not. So I think I just want to get rid of 4 and 5. That looks like it turns out to be a good mix. So I'm just going to come up here and remove. And remove. Okay, so the lights are looking good again. Alright, so now what I want to do is, like last time, I want to click this little thing here so that they are no longer on my timeline because they are not going to be moving at all. So since we're going to need a stick, let's go up here to the library and add one. Let's click here. On add, let's click item, and we're just going to find the stick. And what are these? Interesting. Go right there, stick. Now the stick did spawn in the location, of course, so first we want to give it a name, stick, give it a keyframe over here, and now we can move it. Okay, so I guess before we even get to the stick, we need to figure out what position these 2 characters are going to start in. Since they're going to be playing fetch, let's just say... let's just say they start on the front porch. So to start off, we're going to move Ski Dude over here. We're going to open up the rotation as well, and we're going to just have him standing on the front porch. Now, because of the placement of our lights, we're getting a dark side on Ski Dude, so I think I may place a light out here in the yard just so we can get some light coming from this direction onto Ski Dude. And since I'm not that experienced with lighting, let's see, copy front left. Let's open up the instance tab. Let's unhide it. And let's bring it up. Now, I want it to look somewhat natural, so we're going to turn up the strength to about right there. Okay. We'll just call that the moonlight, since the moonlight is shining straight down. Okay, so let's hide that again. Let's close the instance tab. Alright, so Ski-Dude starts up there. We'll have the wolf just start out here in the yard. We'll just bring him up here. We're going to change this to an exact 90. And we're going to make him sit. So, to do so, we need to rotate him back. Left leg. We want to rotate forward. Right back leg. Rotate forward. Let's bring the front legs up just a little bit. Now let's get all of him again and bring him down. Put it right there. Now we want to watch our clipping, and clipping I mean is currently his tail is sticking to the ground, so we want to grab this and just move it above. We want to grab his body, head, tail, body. Alright, looks like we're just gonna... I've never worked with a wolf before. So we'll just bring that down like that. Then we'll bring that down like that. And his head, just a little bit of a tilt. So now, Ski-Dude looking down has the wolf just looking up at him, kind of waiting there. And we'll even get on some tail wagging going. So we'll just bring that up. Okay, everything looks good. He's not sinking in the ground, his tail's above, his legs are above, his butt's above, and he's looking up at Ski-Dude. Now, to start off, we're going to start off with the stick in Ski-Dude's hand. So we're going to come up here to the instance tab. Now this is something that some people are still struggling with, and this is called parenting. To parent the item, you select the one you want. So in this case, it's the stick. We click Lock to Parent. Here in the parent drop-down area, we click that and it brings down a list of all our characters. Now this is where it's easier when you've named them all. So I'm going to go to Ski, and now I'm going to pick a hand. I'm going to pick body part. I'm going to pick right arm since I'm right-handed. And you'll see here, by default, it says lock to lower part. That means since the arms do bend now, it locks to the lower part of his hand, which is over here. And now I did that, and you're like, well, where's the stick? The stick is actually over here. And that's kind of because I've moved Ski-Dude around, it's kind of moving to where he kind of is. But part of the parenting thing is you need to position it after you've parented it. So we're going to select the keyframe here of the stick, and we are going to move it over to Ski-Dude. Let's just get this in place. Oh, easy. Okay, I'm struggling. We're going to reset that to 0. And I'm going to try this from the top. There we go. Let's move it back. Move it down. And move it over. And let's tilt it forward a smidgen. Okay, now that's a pretty big stick, so we're actually going to scale that down, and to do so we just click on Scale. Now I'm going to keep simple scaling on because I'm just scaling the whole size of the stick, but if I wasn't, and I open that, I can now change like how thick it is, I can change how stretched it is, or I can change how skinny, how kind of skinny this way it is. So we're just going to redo that. And we're going to make it about yay big. So, we've got Ski-Dude. Let's click off. We've got Ski-Dude holding the stick. And we've got the dog faithfully down here waiting. Now, let's start just real quick let's do the tail of the dog. I think for our first camera angle, we're going to start out maybe about like, I don't know, I want to get a behind shot of the dog and his tail wagging while Ski-Doo kind of waves the stick above him. So I'm thinking about a side shot about right here. And now we still need to pose Ski-Doo, but we're going to work with the wolf right now. So we're going to do this. And first of all, we're going to save. Now let's get his tail. Now the tail, we're just going to wag from side to side like this. And to do so, the starting keyframe is set to 0. Well, it's not 0 because we've moved it. So I'm just going to add a keyframe at 5. I'm going to move that keyframe out like that. Next keyframe, I'm going to move to 10. I'm going to move it over to this side. So now if we just replay this, it looks, I mean, it kind of looks retarded because of the first keyframe, but that's just because it's replaying. Now, while we're talking about this, tempo is somewhat of a hard thing for people to master, and I haven't mastered it myself. Tempo, I don't know the exact transition of tempo to frame rate, but if you mouse over it says tempo, change the playback speed of the animation. So this is the speed, not necessarily the FPS. So I usually like to use around a 13. So let's look at this, which means in that case I need to move these a lot closer than what I was doing. So let's try that. Okay, that looks good. And so instead of kind of remaking those keyframes over and over again, I'm just going to click, drag, get those. Now if I hold Control, click on one of these, and drag, we get a copy. So I'm going to grab those 4 now and drag them out. So now let's look at our tail wagging. Looks good. It's smooth. It's about the right speed that I think a dog would wag its tail. So now the question is how long do we actually want to have the dog wagging his tail? We're going to do this. Nah, I don't want to do it that long, so we're just going to take 4 and we're going to do that. So we've got the tail wagging probably for about 5 seconds. 1, 2, yeah, about 5 seconds, which is fine. So let's throw in a camera angle. Let's click here on the timeline, and the camera starts where pretty much you make the keyframe. So this is our camera. It just starts right there. So I think for the first shot we're just going to show a quick thing of the dog wagging his tail while Ski-Doo is shaking his stick. And then we'll probably change the camera back behind Ski-Doo to show the dog up here or something like this. But anyway, that will be in the next animation. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for leaving your comments, and thanks for watching. If you've got more questions or want me to cover something in this How to Animate series, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and I'll make sure to try and fit it in. As always, rate, subscribe, thumbs up. This is Ski-Doo, and I will catch you guys later.